So we've arrived here in the Galapagos Islands. Right now we're on the Santa Cruz Island and we're at El Chato Ranch looking for giant tortoises, which has actually been a lot easier than I expected. We've probably seen well over a dozen of them all throughout this ranch. And it's absolutely incredible being here. The ecosystem here in the Galapagos is incredible. When we came in via the plane, we landed and then took a boat across to Santa Cruz. And when we arrived here, when you get off the boat, the area around the dock was quite arid. There was cacti everywhere, just very dry. And I remember thinking, this isn't at all what I expected the Galapagos to be. But as we started driving through the countryside, within 5 minutes, the entire ecosystem changed to this lush green environment that you see behind me. So it's one of the many reasons why this is a very special place, and I'm really excited to be exploring this for the next 5 days here. So we just arrived here at the island of Isabella, which is going to be our home for the next 2 nights. We're going to check into the hotel, go to sleep after we have some dinner, and then explore in the morning and see what this island has in store for us. Kind of bizarre. It's like you're in a zoo where the animals just roam freely, especially because most of these animals I've only ever seen in a zoo. In fact, while we were snorkeling, we saw a white-tipped reef shark, which is the first time I've ever swam with a shark, or probably ever really seen a shark in the wild before. There's also lizards all over the place. I don't know the name of them yet. I'll probably figure that out, but the Galapagos is one of the strangest and coolest places I think I've ever been on the planet. And that's saying a lot. I've been to a lot of places. We're still here on Isabella Island, and right now we're actually looking for flamingos in the wild, which is something that I never expected to ever do. I didn't know that was part of the itinerary, but it's kind of cool. I've seen them in zoos, I've seen them when I was in Africa on a safari, but to think that we actually go looking for them here in this forest is pretty cool. Bit of a down note is that the audio jack, where I usually plug my microphone into my camera, is no longer working. So this is that brand new camera that I bought when I was in Jerusalem. I guess at this point it was 4 months ago, and I can no longer record audio with an external microphone. What you're hearing right now is the audio from the camera itself. I hope it's okay. Let me know in the comments how it sounds. It's generally pretty good when it's really quiet like it is right now, and all you can hear is my voice. But if there's a lot of background noise, it really, really sucks, especially wind. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. There's not gonna be a Sony repair shop somewhere here in the Galapagos. Even if there was, I'd be without my camera for several days, months, maybe several months. So I'm not entirely sure what I'm gonna do right now, but I'll have to make do with the audio the way it is and just try to scrape by. This trip has all been about improvising and you know, trying to find ways to cope and deal with hands that have been dealt, and you know, I just gotta roll with the punches. So I'm not gonna end my trip on account of this, but we'll see what happens next. What was the noise?
Orogigo gago paru poodle.
God. Just behind me here is the enclosure for Diego, who is 80 years old and responsible for fathering over 800 descendants, pretty much single-handedly saving his entire species. We missed him by a day. As of yesterday, they put him in quarantine because they're actually going to release him back into the wild, I believe in the next couple of weeks or months here. So we missed him, but this guy is a literal legend. The other one that we also missed, but we missed him by over 8 years, is Lonesome George. So we just visited Lonesome George's taxidermy display. He, unfortunately, was the last of his species. His species is now completely extinct. And unlike Diego, they discovered only after Lonesome George had passed away that he was infertile. So they had tried to use him to repopulate his race, or his species, but just didn't work. So you've got a good success story and you've got an unfortunate story, but I don't think I could ever get tired of seeing these giant tortoises. They're all over here, the Galapagos, and every single one of them is just one of the coolest creatures I've ever seen in person. And the fact that they almost went extinct is heartbreaking. Day and another hike. We are now going to a very remote spot here in the Galapagos Islands, just outside of Santa Cruz, and we're gonna go snorkeling, looking for more fish. We got up early this morning at 6:30 so we could beat the crowds, and then we actually head to San Cristobal Island, which is the capital of the Galapagos, in about 2 hours. So just time for a little quick hike, quick dip, and then a 2-hour speedboat to the next island. And then that's it for the Galapagos. So I've really enjoyed it so far, and I do think if you get the chance, it's a bit pricey to come out here, but it's absolutely worth it.
This is so cool.
Amazing place.
I would say this is probably one of my favorite trips that I've done with Contiki, and I think it's just because it's so different. I mean, the animals that they have here, you don't see that on most of the trips that you do with Contiki. I mean, there's a portion of it, but this Galapagos was really focused on the animals. We saw a lot of sea lions, we saw some marine iguanas, we saw that white-tipped reef shark, which was really neat, and then all those giant tortoises, pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
and it's not even over yet. We're about to go dive Kika Rock.
We are.
Which is the best part.
Yeah, so that's up next. Snorkeling very much, but that changed my mind. That was absolutely incredible and one of the coolest experiences I've ever had in my life. Swimming with sharks, and then with no fear either. I mean, you just swim with them, and you know that they're not going to harm you. They're just going about their business. It's absolutely incredible. Very special.
So cool.
I'm like crying at one second. Wow.
Well, some outros are harder than others, and this is it from the Galapagos. I would say this ranks very highly on my list of favorite trips. I think nature is an absolutely beautiful thing that we've got, and to be here with the animals and not have them in cages is really cool. You maintain a safe 2 meters distance everywhere that you go. You don't feed the animals by any means, and you're always with a naturalist, and these naturalists ensure that you follow the rules, but they also educate you about everything that you're seeing. Because our group was 18 people, we have 2 naturalists, Karen and Christian. They took very good care of us. And right now, the 9 of us that were with Christian, we're on a very secluded beach just outside of San Cristobal, and it's just us. There's no vendors selling you anything. There's no one trying to get you on a sun chair. There's no one that's trying to peddle their wares. It's just us. And this is a very remote place that isn't touristy yet, and we just got to swim, snorkel. It was just us and a couple of sea lions, as well as some sea turtles, or rather, I think giant tortoises, to be honest, and we got to swim with them. So I recommend this trip if you get the chance. Up next for me is Peru. I'm going to be going down to Peru, then Bolivia, and then Chile with the Andean crossing trip. So I will see you, as always, next week.